Hello, good evening, and a very warm welcome to Rangers Radio.
Hello, good evening and welcome. Welcome to Rangers Radio. John, myself, Fox, you're on the show this evening. The Southside and the legend that is the Bridgeman. Evening, boys.
Evening all. It's good to be on with the legend himself tonight again, the Bridgeman.
I've got Lenny's teeth, Southside.
And I'll give a shout out to the troops on the YouTube feed. I'll give a shout out to William, Stephen and Philip, that's in there the now already, waiting for the show, and Dado's just appeared, so I'll give him a shout out tonight and welcome to the show and good evening to everyone listening in on Facebook and all.
Evening, Bridge.
Oh, good evening, Ox, yeah. And yourself, Southside, and of course the Techie boys in the background. Can I just say to all the Rangers fans that are listening in from all over the world, what a day this has been. What a day for our club. Unbelievable stuff. Really hopeful, really hopeful. Can I just say, please remember, this is our club and it's all going to happen again and again and again. We need to keep it going for the Rangers because they really need us, and I'm not being funny. Good evening and welcome to Rangers Radio.
I thought we were going to go right to the tune there.
No. It's, we need to get the fans back in again and right behind the team.
Well,
it's going to happen.
I get that, Bridge, I get it. Listen, what we'll do is we'll touch, and I mean briefly, the highlights will be short and sweet. We'll talk about the game on Saturday, and then we'll turn our attention fully to what's happened at the club today. Yes, is that all right? We used to, gentlemen.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Can I just also take this opportunity to mention Southside Super 6? 4 winners, 2 draws. Hit the crossbar there, Biggie.
Aye. 2-0 each draw is disgusting, isn't it? But, aye.
Getting there, mate. Getting there. Maybe, with the way it's gone, maybe, what you reckon, 2031, you might get one up.
2034. That's right.
Unlucky the weekend, Biggie. Unlucky. Yeah.
Aye, thanks for that. I'm sure, yeah, it was a heartfelt. Sure, that was heartfelt from you.
I never sent any messages at the weekend, as you well know.
Aye, I know.
I
was talking to you half time, maybe that's how.
Did you miss the messages, Bridge?
I did, aye. I like them.
Here you stop encouraging them, right?
No. I like them. I like the way they
He was worried if he laughed, I was going to try and pop him down these stairs. So I was.
I love it. Brilliant.
Oh dear. Right, okay. We'll talk about the game on Saturday. Look, this is my take on it. We started okay. Got the goal, and then, I don't know, slowed down with pedestrian, and then we lost a goal. Should have lost a penalty kick. You might have a different view on it. If it happened at the other end, I'm looking for a penalty kick. And we fully don't understand it's going on with Scottish football. And let's not deflect that decision away from the other decisions that's happening elsewhere. Yeah. So we get it. That's a penalty kick in my view. And then we just had loads of the ball with no idea, no pace, no creativity. And we get a goal or nothing. And could have lost a goal when Tav got mugged, falling in the park. It was a poor performance. And I would only give Butland. And I didn't think he was great at their goal. I thought his setup was wrong, but I would only give him pass marks because of the save he made at the end. I thought nobody else in their team, in my opinion, in the starting 11, get pass marks. I thought it was as poor as anything we've dished up this season. But we won. Southside.
Aye, it was poor. It was a good goal, set piece. So I suppose the set piece guys came in will be happy. Good delivery from Tav for the corner, and Manny Fernandez was well above everybody else and belted the header in. Poor goal to lose, but it was the boy took some first touch, by the way. I know, and that helped him probably. The way he took the touch, you know. Aye, it was. I mean, he done well to just take that touch, and it fell perfect for him. Butland came out and did really nothing, and he slotted it away. At the game at the time, I was unsure about the penalty incident, but I'll put my hands up and say when I seen it later on, I dare say it should have been a penalty. It looked to me like if it'd been up the other end, I'd have been looking for it, to be honest. And that just shows you how these referees and VAR and all that is absolutely abysmal. We got away with one, but we've been on the receiving end of many poor decisions, like most clubs. Osbeerford obviously more than others, as the table shows, but it was a poor decision for the officials, and we got away with one, to be perfectly honest. That aside, whether they score or not, it's a different matter, but I do believe they should probably have got the penalty. After that, I thought we had most of the play in the game, to be honest. Without doing anything, aye, exactly. And without really doing anything. It was poor final balls across the box, up towards the area, poor shooting, and sometimes poor play with a lot of players that weren't on it. Gassman, appalling. Asgard, appalling. And there was many others, but they two stood out, and I thought if anything, they two could come off at half time. Diamondi again, flatter to deceive, running about without doing much, chasing pigeons probably.
If we're honest,
you know,
he's not kicked the ball.
No, poor. Raskin, all right, but still poor in decision making at times. Had to release the ball a lot quicker. He's not a playmaker. He can go and break the play up, but that's about it. And even at that, he's not been back. He's not been at form. So the whole midfield weren't at it at all on Saturday. Powder punch up front, lacking physicality through the middle. Danilo ran about without doing anything. But in saying that,
he had one involvement in the first half when he did decently amazing, didn't he?
Aye, that's right. I went in the run. Aye, he beat 2 or 3 players. He did, but on the whole, it was poor. We huffed and puffed. We had most of the game and most of the ball in the first half, if that's what we're talking about, up to half time. But like I say, we had one shot, one header and goal, and I think that was, I don't even think their goalkeeper made a save box in the whole first half.
You mentioned the officials for me, and look, I accept you can't have a game of football without referees and argue with linesmen if they're going to stay. But what I will say is, if you take that game in isolation, and this is a point we've made, talking about these officials, there was obviously, in our opinion, Bridge might have a different one. If it happened the other end, we're looking for a penalty kick. That's all you can say. You've got VAR that never picks it up. And then we score a perfectly good goal. And when you see it for the side on, what does the linesman see to give offside there? What did he see? Because when you see it, Majovski's well onside at the initial run. Diamandi's behind Majovski when the ball's played in and he runs onto the ball. What did he see to give offside? Anyway, we'll come back to that. Bridgeman, you're taking the game at the weekend, mate?
I think it's much like you guys have said. I thought that our goalkeeper was at the game sometimes. I don't know. The guy I liked at the weekend, I thought, I'm not saying he was a star or anything like that, but I thought he had a very good game considering the little he's played. I thought big Fernandez, I thought he had a really good game in patches, you know. A good goal, scored a good goal, and he was always there for the high balls from a defence perspective, but not the corners and the free kicks. They're still doing this, shall we say, zonal marking, and you're ending up with people the size of Connor Barron, sort of up against a 6'4", you know, that kind of thing. That's still going on in our team. That needs to get sorted out.
Well,
marking
to be fair, it was 90 minutes when Connor Barron came on Bridge, yeah?
No, I don't mean more Connor Barron. I just used his name in the sense he's that size. So you're seeing smaller guys up in the zonal marking. For some reason or other, they're in there in their zonal marking, and all of a sudden you're seeing guys up against trying to out jump guys over 6 feet tall, and it's just nonsense. You need to get the big fellas in and do the business properly. That's what I'm looking for. Other than that, I thought you're right. I thought we got away with that with the penalty. I thought it was a penalty myself. But I think there's a whole load of fouls. I thought some of them we didn't get, but should have got. And I think if we'd got them, they'd have lost a number of players to red cards because
I get your point, Bruce. There's a lot of
tackles shocking. Sorry,
blocks. There was a lot of pulling and stopping and blocks that were. This is what, as fans, the consistency of refereeing. You think a Paul jersey is an automatic yellow card, then you watch it doesn't happen. I get your point on that. But I'm glad you mentioned Fernandez. It was a good header, Southside. Yeah, he was towered above everybody, towered at him, and we got off to a great start.
Aye, we did. I thought that was going to be the catalyst to add to that in the first half. Because we had bits of energy and we were getting forward, but final balls and stuff were terrible. But I agree with Bridge. I thought for the length of time he's been out, I thought he had a decent game. A wee bit lackadaisical a couple of times. It's more switched on, and I thought he had more time on the ball than what he did. But I thought he was dominant in the air, which I had seen in the games. I had only brief spells that I'd watched him. He does win a lot of balls in the air for his height and stuff. And I thought he done all right, considering, like I said, the length of time he's been out coming back into the team.
I'll give that one and reflect.
And I thought Butland with the save. I thought Butland with the save that he made when Tav slipped, and the boy ran through. We only the goalkeeper to beat, and he spread himself well, balked it with his legs. And I thought Butland, because he kept as well in the game at that point. So Butland was close behind Manny Fernandez. I would have gave it to Fernandez, just the fact for the length of time he got as a goal, and I thought he looked no bad. I know that at the end of the game they gave it to Raskin, which surprised me. But this is what happens when the sponsors are picking players. Sometimes they just want to pick a player that they want their 40s next to. And obviously Raskin got it, and maybe some people might have agreed with it, I don't know. But out the two, I thought they were just shaded it. And I thought Bezrami, when he came on, was good. Mate. Done well for us. Totally changed it a wee bit for us as well.
Aye, the wide area was a problem. Bridgeman, the Ant-Man and Gasman. I said, I can all have a bad game, but they were poor, mate, and not for the first time.
No, I think we'll probably find that their defence, I thought they defended very, very well against us. Outmanned our attackers and outfought them, and that was one of the problems with Gasman and the boy Ant-Man. I thought Gasman got some horrible treatment off their defenders, who I thought were lunatics. They looked mental. Their defenders. I mean really mad. They were lunging in, and I'll tell you what, but they get away with it. They really do get away with it. They give. I don't know. I don't know what they think. Who's giving them the orders to really kick out players?
Did they look mental or really mental?
Really mental. There's a couple of their defenders I've said to you earlier. They were shocking, and they should get sent off. They're absolutely dreadful. Over the top, sometimes, all the time. I'm not happy with them. I'm not happy with them. However, that's the way it goes, and every single team in our league is the exact same playing against us. They're going in there with 2 feet, you name it. So there.
There was a 250 tackle on young Lyle Cameron near the end.
Absolutely.
I've not seen it again, mate, but I thought that could have been. I've not seen it in replay, but the guy comes sliding in. I thought he'd lost control of me, but aye, it wasn't a great performance with Newton Park. The good thing was we won the game, clawed 2 points back in the leaders' house. That's the truth.
Aye, we needed to get the result. I agree with you, like you said. I thought what the linesman was watching for the stand side or for the enclosure side in the second half, when he put his flag up for offside, I don't know what he was looking at down that line. That just shows you the standard. It just shows you the standard of these linesmen and referees. They're poor. you know. Their goalie probably didn't help because he sort of jumped to the ball from Majowski. But we needed to get to 3 points. We were getting that. It was going that way in the game. We'd made a few subs, try to get in. I thought the tackle, like you said, I've not seen it back, but at the time I thought it was pretty poor challenge on Lyle Cameron. And as we touched on, as I said, I thought Rami coming on gave us a bit more energy. He was unlucky with a couple of passes. There was one where it just took in a calf a defender that fell right into Majowski's path, and I think it went through. Gasman, as you said, I think he was taking too long. We watched him, we spoke about it in the first half at half time. He was getting ball with just a defender to beat, and he was slow trying to drive forward, and then he was getting 2 and 3 round about him. And then he just wasn't doing anything. He was trying to cut inside. I think Ant-Man, you need to give him the ball in front of him. I think you need to get him running onto the ball. He nicked by his defender a few times in the first half. He jumped by him, no problem. But I think on the whole, I think he needs to we need to knock the ball forward and have him running onto it. And maybe his deliveries would be a bit better. Because he's certainly got talent. But we need to get more out our two wingers. Because on Saturday the two of them weren't really firing, and which meant that Danilo wasn't getting any service.
My problem with the inverted wingers, mate, is you come inside for this move, you try to bend it in the opposite post, all the time. I get it, but then when that doesn't work, you've no width in your team, and everything's congested, and that's what was happening. I mean, there was in the first half in particular. I mean, Ant-Man was poor with a goal and it wasn't switched on, and obviously they just moved up the park. But he was making run after run and having to go back and back and back because we weren't playing the ball in. But when we do have the ball and they've got the ball, both of them will come inside where all the players are. So that'll work and you'll score the odd spectacular goal. But then when you keep doing that and you keep doing that, you end up with no width in your team, and it's a problem for me. It's a problem when you play the people who traditionally you would play left footers on the left and right footers on the right, so they could go to the byline and they could put it in. Whereas modern football has changed, and when it doesn't work, as I say, Bridge, you end up with no width in your team, and you've seen that quite a few times on Saturday.
Yeah, you've been saying it there, and it's nothing truer than what you're saying. We're running up against it. We've spoke about this over the seasons, where we can run all the possession you want, and it's on our own half, and we end up stepping into the opposition half from the defence, and you're forgetting what's happening at the back. I just said this last week. Watch it. This is what you watch it for. And what do? We walk straight into it. You get a big centre half standing 3 or 4 yards inside the opposition half, and the ball breaks. We have a screw up in our attack. They steal it, leather the ball up, and we're knackered. Yeah, the guy, huge big guy, and he walks away. And our big centre half is stuck up the pool. They should never be in the opposition half, never, until it all settles down and we've got a really good rhythm in the team. And the way the team is now, the type of football that our manager or coaches are wanting our players to play, we don't have the players that can play that the way they want it. We have to change it slightly. I don't know how we're going to do it, but I need to change it slightly, because you can't get through every week and hope you get through against Livingston at Ibrox, hoping you can get your 3 points, because they could have scored another goal quite easily. There was a couple of times, and as Southside said, Butland did a tremendous save near the end. So all these things are hanging in the balance for me when I watch them. I want our players to be able to play. Midfielders should do what midfielders do and play football and get themselves up into the attacking third of the pitch as much as possible.
They're too deep, Bridge.
Sorry?
You're spot on there. The midfield's too deep. There was times where between Raskin was right next to the two centre halves, and to the right of him was Diamandi, and then in front of him was Tav, particularly in the first half. And then all of a sudden, they had 4 boys across the front, and there's absolutely nothing in midfield, mate. So the people up front are the 4 across the front were obviously Gasman, Asgard, Danilo, and Ant-Man. But there's nothing near them to try and make things happen. Or if they declared it was fun to their players all the time because we've made nothing in midfield. And listen, I'm not going at Danny Rowe. I mean, he's moving the deck chairs around and trying to see, but that's a problem because we end up with no creativity Southside, and there's a big gap. And we've got to be smarter.
Yeah, midfield's the issue at the moment. Diamondi's miles off it. Absolutely miles off it. And Raskin, as much as we can see, he can go in and influence games to a point, has been pretty poor. We need a creative midfield player. Albert mentioned it a couple of times. We need a player that can... You think Asgard would be the guy that should be able to get on the ball. He's got skill levels, we've seen it. He can take the ball, in tight situations, but he needs to go and drive more. He needs to show a bit of heart. He needs to show that he's got what it takes. I know he's a young boy. Listen, we had a discussion, as you know, off time ox, and we had you said the same. He thinks he's maybe later on he'll start to produce and become a decent player. But we need it now, and he needs to show it now. And I know you're right. At the moment, he's miles off it. I agree. He's apart from the Dundee United game when he took the ball just on the halfway line and drove and done what he done and scored a wonderful goal. He's been miles off it. Our whole midfield's been miles off it, and we need this to work because that's the engine room of your team.
I don't really know what he's playing. Southside, what would you say he was actually playing? Inside left?
He's playing left to a 3 in the midfield.
I wouldn't even say he was playing in midfield on Saturday, mate.
He was
playing next to Danilo and Gassman.
He's on that left sort of thing, and probably between him and Gassman on Saturday, as we spoke about at half time, you could have took any one of the two of them off, or the two of them at that point off on Saturday, because they were contributing virtually nothing. So he's not doing enough. But Raskin and Diamandi, they've been here at this club a long time. They should know better than we're saying this new boy's just come in. We've spent money on him. He's young. He should be producing more. And at the moment, he's no. But Raskin and Diamandi have been here a long time, and they should be contributing a lot more. And for me, Diamandi's fell off a cliff. He's miles off it for what he was. I don't know what the problem is. But he's not doing it. He's just not doing enough. So, in the long term going forward, I think they two definitely need to be going out the door. Raskin and Diamandi for me.
Do you want to hear a wee update? I know it's not Rangers related. It's just something that's happened in the football world the last couple of minutes outside. For those listening, maybe tickle them.
Oh, was it what you thought about the sending off?
Aye.
Everton. It looked like a slap, but it looks at one of the Everton players has slapped one of his teammates, and he's just been sent off in the game against Manchester United.
Bridgeman when they completed the game. If you get sent off for that.
It was the Craig Lavino in that hog, if you remember, back in the day. It was merely a wee slap, but obviously the referees decided to send them off.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that's probably what happened. Yeah, it's been a wee slap in all probability. But for two players at that level in the Premier League to be fighting each other in any way, shape, or form and raising hands. No, it's unacceptable. But in our league, it happens all the time.
Maybe he's endangered the opponent, but in Scotland, you're allowed to deliberately kick somebody in the head.
I'm saying that. It doesn't really matter in Scotland. I'd rather get a wee slap than a big boot in the face, you know. And then somebody tell you never got a boot in the face, what are you moaning about? That's basically what they're saying to him.
Right, okay. So we're going to hear from our chairman, and then we're going to get the phone lines opened. All right, boys, we'll move on, yeah, because I think we've covered that game, unless somebody comes in and wants to raise a point outside that.
Aye, hopefully we'll get a few callers on. Obviously, there's a lot to talk about.
Yes.
And we're certainly... Aye.
Oh, he's away. Right, get yourself a mute outside, and let's hear from our chairman.
Parag and I have analyzed the club's needs, and as we reflect on what the club needs today and where Kevin Patrick are, we think we need something different.
What is that something different?
I want to be really careful not to throw dirt on either of them. I think the world of both Patrick and Kevin. They've been great professionals. They've worked tirelessly for the club. And I just don't think it's appropriate to sort of give a compare and contrast on what they did and didn't do right and what we're looking for in the future. And so I'll keep it simple to say that as we look forward, we want different executives to help us lead the transformation of the club.
Would it be fair to say going forward, we're not going to align with your strategy that you set out back in the summer?
I don't know it's that they wouldn't align with the strategy, but we think there are different executives that can help move the strategy forward differently. They were always in alignment with the strategy that we were trying to execute.
We last spoke when Danny Rule was appointed a month ago, and you said they had your full backing, although you admitted they had made mistakes, as the leadership team had. What has changed within that time?
Yeah, Danny came in a month ago, as you commented on. Our focus, the first part of this season, the first part of our ownership period, has been on the sporting side. And that's where all of our attention went to for obvious reasons. With Danny coming in, he has started to improve the on-pitch performance, and that has created the space to allow Parag and I to look at other parts of the club with new eyes and assess what we need going forward. And that's what's led to this change.
Some fans will think that they might be a bit worried that the head coach has been appointed, then left, and a new one has come in, and now the sporting director and the chief executive officer have also left. Should they be concerned, or is this you now being even more hands-on, taking the leadership role here?
Yeah, I think it's very much us being hands-on. I think responsible change has to be measured. I don't think you can come in and tear something completely apart all at once, or you're likely to get something wrong. I think it's very common when new ownership comes into a club that changes are made. We've taken 6 months to make these changes. We believe they're the right changes for the club going forward, and I think our supporters would understand that.
You mentioned the supporters. There have been a lot of protests against both men that have departed today. How much was that a factor in your decision?
We think our supporters being vocal about their views is fantastic. I've really enjoyed getting to know a lot of them on a one-to-one basis. I've enjoyed the fan panels that we did last time I was in town, and we always like to be aware of what they're thinking. But we've come to this decision based on our own data, our own review, our own analysis.
Again, the fans were maybe not happy with some of the recruitment and the sporting performance. Has that factored into the decision for the two men to leave today?
Again, I'm not going to get into details on why we made the decision. I'm going to try to stay high level. As I said, I think that's the right thing for us to do. We think our team is highly skilled and has upside. As I said in October, it needs to be rounded out a little bit more. We didn't expect to get from point A to point B in a single window, but we're very optimistic, and we've been encouraged by the uptick in performance that's happened under Danny. Not just the results, which are great, but also seeing some of the individual performances improve under his watch.
Kevin Thelwell did appoint people, including his son, to the recruitment side of the business. Will they remain in their positions just now?
Everybody who's contributing to the club has the chance to stay. I will say the same thing that I say to everybody, which is that in a high-performing organization, everybody is accountable, and that starts with Parag and myself and goes all the way through the organization.
What's the process now in terms of finding replacements?
The search is actually already underway. Parag and I have already started meeting with candidates. Our focus, as you would hope and expect, is on quality and fit and not on speed. So it might take us a little bit of time. We have positioned the club with Fraser coming in as the acting CEO so that we can allow ourselves the time to make the right choice. But we know that some of the people we're talking to are in other positions and they may have notice periods, and we want to make sure that we're absolutely ready as we head into the spring, into the summer.
How much of a factor and how important is it that the new people coming in have Scottish football knowledge or knowledge of this football club?
I think that the most important thing for anyone in this club is to have an appreciation for and understand the club. I think you can do that without having grown up in the club. And I actually think Danny's a great example of that, where I think he gets it and the fans get him. So I think it's possible to create that relationship without having been in this club. But it's absolutely critical for our executives to understand what it is to be a part of this club and what it means to our supporters.
I know the financial results came out last week. It was another loss posted. What are you guys doing now to make sure that they will be limited going forward?
We are trying to get the revenue in line with the expenses, as you would expect. We continue to invest in the playing squad, and the intent, as we described at the EGM last summer, is that we can turn some profits using a player trading model. We still believe in that and expect that to happen going forward.
Just finally then, what is your message to Rangers fans that have saw already this season a lot of change and a lot of change again?
I think change is constant, but we think the change has been positive too. My message to them would be that we're all on the same side. Every time we see something that we think we can make better, that helps us achieve our goals, we will make that change, and we're not afraid to do that.
Big fact.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972? It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Well, thanks for that, Fox. Real interesting stuff there. And the thing that resonated with me, I'll go to Southside first, was the fact that they've already started the selection process. I don't know if you picked up on that, Southside. This didn't happen this morning, if that's the case.
No, it didn't. Obviously, if you're looking ahead, and they've been looking at things, and if they're not performing in their workplace, because they're getting. They've obviously looked in. You can see Kavanagh even a few weeks ago at the press conference with Danny Rowe. I know they didn't ask him much, but he didn't look too chuffed either. And it was Thelwell and Patrick Stewart that was getting questioned on a lot of things. And obviously, it was interesting to see other people might still be in their roles at the moment, and they might need to get a period of time before they can get them. So that sounded interesting as well, Ox. So it did, for what you said there.
Aye, better never stops. You've got to always look to evolve it. I just don't think Patrick Stewart, Kevin Thelwell, for different reasons, I just don't think they've been a good fit. And then the Russell Martin debacle, and then the selection of the players coming in the door, Bridge. If it was your money, your hard-earned cash, and I know getting you part of money can be quite difficult, but you would think long and hard about whether you wanted this group of management to go be involved in spending your revenue, your business, or your investment, mate. I just don't see it, because at this moment in time, we went backwards, no forwards, Bridge.
Well, to be quite honest with you, now as we see it, and the top man's decided that there's a mismatch, and there's been a mismatch. I think all three of them, Patrick Stewart and Thelwell and the ex-manager, they were a tribute act. That's what they were. They were dreadful for Rangers. Every one of them, just dreadful. Their performances, just unbelievable. And it's led to chaos in our playing staff, just chaos. I don't know whether our playing staff, as they stand at the moment, are good enough to actually pull us up the league at all. That's my honest opinion. I don't know, but I hope it does. I hope it does happen. They were like, I don't know. I just, one was more disappointing than the other, in my opinion, and I was absolutely, shall we say, dumbfounded as to they get rid of the manager and kept the other people on. And I don't know if that's cost us anything, to be honest. They keep people staying there. It might have cost us a European couple of points or something, but really and truly, they're depressing.
I don't think. I don't think they're responsible for the results. What they're responsible, Southside, is the people had to pick for, and maybe the right was on the wall as soon as Russell Martin went for the tour. But they just waited, give themselves a bit of time, maybe look behind the scenes, who's available, who has the key, whose contract's different, who's watertight, who's interested, Southside. That's always a factor, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Aye, I think Patrick Stewart, whether he was brought in by them or no, they never actually alluded to it, Patrick Stewart. But if they had the say-so in saying he to come in, do the due diligence, behind the scenes as he was doing the audit, then they possibly brought him in. He's never really been a CEO. He's been an acting CEO at Manchester United for a short period of time, I believe. And it was a short period of time, but he filled different roles at the club. Listen, whether he was doing a decent job in the background or no, other things we don't know, but if you're taking it he was responsible, he was the guy that pulled the axe on Clement. Now, Clement could have been sacked probably after the Queen's Park result, if that's what you were going to do. He chose not to, he chose to back him, and then he chose to sack him. Then he brings in Thelwell. I would imagine he'd be down to him and maybe a couple other people on an executive board that made that decision, but possibly him being the CEO was the guy who brings in Thelwell. And then between the two of them, they obviously had the power to go and then hire a manager who didn't work out and was miles off it. And now, as we go 4 months down the line, although Thelwell's in 4 months and Patrick Stewart's been there a bit longer, we find that they two have been out their depth as well. When you look at what the recruitment's been like, his statement with the TIFO, the Graham Souness TIFO thing, was shocking. Apologising, it should never have come out. It never come out his mouth. He was quick to go and hunt the supporters that travel home and away and are there every week, vocal. For people I know it's dealt with him in the last wee while. He doesn't seem to have a presence or anything like that. I know he's been doing a lot of the commercial deals because we don't have a commercial manager, and he's the guy that's been taking over and doing stuff. But the few people that I know that have met him haven't been impressed with him at all, Stuart. At the times they had meetings with him, because obviously they dealt with Bisgrove before it when he was commercial manager. Different, totally different personality, different to deal with. Maybe that's not his bag. Listen, we need somebody that's prominent. We need somebody with a bit of presence. We need somebody when he speaks, he's saying it for the goodness of the club and he's speaking well and what he's saying is right. This is a unique job you're getting into. And he obviously, Patrick Stewart, didn't have the credentials to fill that role. The Americans have said before you'll be judged, everybody's responsible for their roles, and you'll be judged on it. And obviously they've took a back seat and they've had a look. Maybe they spoke to Danny Rowe when he's come in and said, how do you find the playing squad? And he's went miles off it. Some of these players will just never make it, or some I'll try my best for them, but they're not good enough. And we need better recruitment. Maybe Thelwell's put players forward for January. We don't know. But whatever it is, they see that these two guys aren't fit. The support knew they weren't fit for the job. They've had plenty of flack. They've been told umpteen times that the two of them need to go. And probably they've waited till another break in the internationals. And now they've decided to pull the trigger on the two of them. There's not many clubs out there in the world that have got rid of a manager, a CEO and a director of football so quickly in one season. I don't know if any other club's done it in a while. But it had to be done. It had to be done. And we're going to an AGM soon. And probably if you look at some of the recruitment, it's poor. And that squad isn't good enough. But we've still got a league title to fight for. And we're not that far off everybody. And we've still got 3 games against teams that are above us at the moment. And we're hopefully, if we can get good recruitment in January, we'll not get everybody. But at the end of the day, we need to try and recruit some players. Danny Rowe's got a background at Bayern Munich, at Leipzig and stuff like that. He knows people in the game. It might come down to him. And maybe some of the recruitment team in the background. If Purdy's still going to be there a long time, we don't know. We don't know if Thelwell's boy's going to be there long term or not. But these are the two guys that are sort of pulling strings in the back with recruitment. So we'll wait and see how that works out.
My gut feeling with that, mate, is that they'll disappear quietly. Yeah?
There's a good chance, aye.
But if I just talk about the football side of things, Rich, just on the football side of them, Kevin Farrell will come in as with that role in charge of everything, the football side. And I remember at the time we thanked Everton for letting them get involved in some recruitment process for a manager. So he was involved in Russell Martin coming in. No, in his defence, he wouldn't have predicted it was going to go so Pete Tong, but it did. The management style, for want of a better word, along with the recruitment, was a bomb scare. and then try to gaslight us a couple of times. And that's the only way I can describe it. Insult with intelligence with some of the things he said in interviews, particularly about Russell Martin being the best coach he's ever seen. Well, wow, right? Don't want to get into personalities, but what we were seeing on the park didn't add up to that. And then some of the statements after Russell had left, when they're trying to justify his signings was miles off it, mate. Just insulting to everybody connected with the club. And then all of a sudden it's no ended well and he's gone. I wasn't surprised today. I was only shocked at the timing. I personally didn't think, Bridge, that we could go forward and let them, as a group, led by Thirlwell, be involved in the recruitment process, because it was so poor in the summer. So poor. As Albert says, your eyes don't lie. What you're watching on that part is so poor. And the players were brought in, I don't know if any of them have been a success. Gasman started well. But if you take it over the whole period, I don't know if any of them have been a success. And that's unbelievably bad, Bridge.
I have to agree with you. I think the time that Thirlwell mentioned that our previous manager is one of the best managers he's ever seen, we should have binned him straight away. Because, you know, that's what should have happened. We should have got rid of him and get rid of the guy above him. Those three should have went at the same time, because they're the main cause of all the problems. However, maybe we can't actually do that. From an internal perspective, we can't actually do that, so we have to wait. So we've managed to get a new manager in, and then we can do the changes as we've done them today. That might work out really well for the club. Obviously, I don't know, but I'm pleased. I'm delighted because the quality of player we've got. I think you mentioned Gazman and Ant-Man. I think they two are actually quite good players, particularly Gazman. He's probably the most skillful player we've got at the moment when you see him on the park. But nobody supports him, never gets support. He gets kicked all over the park, and none of us are running in pushing that defender away. None of us. He gets absolutely leathered in the park, that boy. And I don't know why, other than the fact that he's a skillful player. So I would expect our other players to go in and push the guy that's kicking him or tackling him badly or whatever. Just get in there and show the people that we are one unit. We are a team, and that's what we need to do. I'm not saying that they're the best players in the world, Gazman and Ant-Man, but I don't think they're as bad. If we change the way we play and get it sensible stuff, we're running into something like a 10-man defence. It's just around about the penalty area line, and it's just crazy. We're continuously doing it and have been for 2 or 3 seasons or more. So they come at teams come up, they get you a single line, and they say, here we go, we're going to play the low block, and we can't cope with the low block. We never have. So I think Southside mentioned earlier, we don't have the midfield with the skills that can actually break that lock, the low block. They just don't have it. We at the club don't have it.
Just come back to the recruitment side, and I want a yes or a no for the 2 years yet. Just on the recruitment side, would you say that Kevin Thirlwell, because come on, also try to say is like, the manager, I've not signed a player that any manager didn't want. It depends what options you're getting, and who you can get. It's a loaded question or a loaded answer. You know, it's don't insult us. It was an insult again. But however, I want to ask you two fine, upstanding gentlemen. Would you have bagged them? Yes or no? Southside.
Yeah, well.
Aye.
I hunted him, aye. You would have hunted him. Aye.
Rich?
I mean,
Rich?
Same for me.
Right, give us your reasons, no Southside.
Well, at the moment, the recruitment hasn't been good enough. We're looking at players. I know some players might take a wee bit longer to settle than others. And listen, I can go with the fact that Gasman with the form that he was showing at Sheffield Wednesday, and he would have been, Danny Rowe alluded to the fact that when he was there that he would probably end up in the £20 million bracket, right? We go and get him for £2.5 million. And maybe in the long term it might work, but we needed players that were going to hit the ground running straight away. Giga, as much as he's valued about 20 million as a Wolves player, for me at the moment doesn't look anywhere near that. Ernst, I thought if he was playing regular at right back, but we went back to relying on Tav, sort of gone there, and I know Tav's been playing right centre back lately, but I thought he'd have come in and took over, and then we could maybe have judged him properly. He's had a shaky start to his career and all. He's been in and out of the team, and he doesn't look like he's going to be a regular at the moment. And if James Tavernier's keeping you at the team, which we all expected, because we know his legs have went, as much as he's not a bad player and has been, we all thought genuinely that Tav would have been eased out and not playing so many games. The Chimiti one for me just nails him. We've paid a fortune for the boy. I still don't know the reason why we didn't go and buy Shankland. Short term, guy comes in, can score goals, but in saying that, you have to create chances, and the way we've been under Russell Martin at the start, anybody would have found it hard to score in that team.
On Saturday, Haaland when he scored for us.
Aye, I know, that's what I'm saying. So as much as that, but I just think that was the right decision to go for. Somebody that knows where the goal is. Would have done a turn for us, would have walked to Ibrox for nothing. And you've given chances, I think he'd have scored more goals for us than what we've got at the moment, and include Majowski and that and all. But we never, Chimiti one's nailed it for him, I think. Probably bringing his boy in and all doesn't exactly help. But in the recruitment side...
It didn't pass the sniff test, did it?
No.
It didn't pass it.
As a guard, it looks like he's a decent player. If you watch him and what he's done...
No.
Listen, the boy's got talent. The boy has got talent. Whether we're not getting enough of him at the moment, but if you watch what he done, if you speak to Old School Blue, he'll tell you it looking last year and he was really good. He scored a lot of good goals. Played after the striker, I believe. I think Old School will tell you, and he looked decent. He's not cutting the mustard and who he is at the moment, but I think he has a talent, and I think we need to try and make that happen. Ant-Man is at a right age, but I don't know. He's just got to settle in. But the recruitment's been poor. That squad isn't good enough. I think you underestimated it. I think he's got a wee bit of arrogance about himself well. And he's been judged on his signings.
Just to let you know, see the loads of goals he scored at Luton last year.
Would he get 4 or something?
2 at League
2.
Goals.
Well, he scored them at Wigan, he scored them elsewhere. Listen, the boy scores goals, he's a talent, right? And he played well.
Just to let you know, the league goals at Wigan, mate, he scored 23 in 140 games, mate, over 5 seasons.
Right, well, he was a young guy, but he was a young boy. He's only 21. He's a young talent. Listen, the boy's comfortable on the ball. He's got a nice touch.
Just to let you know, his next birthday is 24, mate.
Right, well, whatever. Immaterial. The boy's got a talent, right? I believe he's talented. I believe we've got to get more out of him. But at the moment,
I'll tell you this, mate. Right, I'll tell you my opinion. Right, my opinion. Because you're good with football and because you juggle it, doesn't make you a football player.
Aye, I'll give you that. But I still think he's got good control. He's got a good pass. He's got vision, and I think the goal at Dundee United he scored is like
one good pass in the Rangers jersey. Not one.
Aye, at the moment, I agree. I told you I would have took him off at half time, and he went off at half time on Saturday. We spoke about it. He was shocking, and so was the gas man. He's another one that's not doing enough either. They're just not cutting it, and obviously you'll be judged by your signings.
They're not alone. Gas man, Diamande, Raskin, you could go on and on and on.
The squad's poor. The squad's poor, and it needs strengthened. It needs help, and Danny Rowe needs help because he's trying to do his magic with what he's got in front of him. You seen him out in the touchline on Saturday, roaring at the players to get up the park and try to drive them forward. You know, but the squad isn't good enough, and we'll probably have to overhaul it in the summer again, to be perfectly honest, because most of the players they know and ones that we know need to get the door. I mean, Matondo's sitting there picking up money for nothing. It's another one.
When's his contract up? Is it a summer?
I think so. I've just had a text in. Listen to John Sterling's limped off after 7 minutes of the game. They reckon he's tore a hamstring, and this is why we spoke about this when you've been out a long time with Achilles injury and you're going to come back in. Boys text me and said he looks like he's done his hamstring tear. Kieran Dell started in that game as well, and so is Enciala against St Mirren. But they're getting battered now 3-0 at half time. But Dujon Sterling seemingly went off on his hamstring, so well, it's like he'll be out for another bit of time as well now.
Well, if that's the case with that injury, mate, that's another 2 months. You know, I'm sure all better what I'm talking about, but he's on. He doesn't think that just Sterling's body's just not up to it, mate, and he's chasing his tail. Yeah, you know, and we just gave it an extension. You know, anyway, it's interesting. But look, I think that we're all agreeing that based on just recruitment and what we've seen in bringing players in, there was too many mistakes. And I take your points outside about potential, maybe. But even the loan players, what would you give Cornelius? Okay so far, Bridge? Would that be fair?
Well, you can't complain too much about Cornelius. He's not done too much wrong. I think, look, we've got what we've got, and the people who brought him in are the people who are no longer there. So the difficulty now is for the manager to be able to pick up without the support of people above, except a stand-in CEO. So I don't know whether we should be bringing in quickly, bringing in a director of football to get that, take the weight off the boy, because that's huge task he got, huge task. Not only we've got to manage the players that we've got and try to get the best out of them, some of them are just not going to play. Like Matondo, I don't understand for the life of me, and I don't understand. I think half the population that are Rangers fans can't understand why Matondo's there, and when he is there, why can't he play? So I don't know what's going on. It might be far more serious than we know. I mean, really and truly, from a club perspective, that's horrendous. And we've got a couple of them there. Kieran Dowell, we can't move them. And it's just not right. For a club like Rangers, I mean, forgive me,
the problem is nobody's going to match their contracts.
Correct, I'm saying that, but we've got ourselves into this situation, and our manager is stuck with all this. And you know, you've got to, that heart goes out to him, because you just go away, don't go back, go and find yourself a club. All that things that a manager could do in the past, they can't do it now. They need the board or the director of football to say, give it, sign that. Aye, no, they're not going to do it. So we're stuck with them. The manager's stuck with them, and all of that is going to be put on the manager's shoulders, and he's only there on his own. Don't care about the guy coming in as an interim CEO. His level, insofar as the guys on the pitch is concerned, we're 2 steps away. So we need to get somebody in quickly at that level, at director level, to support our manager. How we do it, I don't know.
Back
bring
to
Souness in temporarily.
What we've seen with the chairman and the new ownership, if you like, Southside. If there is a problem with the fitness stroke medical team, I'm sure they'll be looking at that as well, mate. You know, if you look at Sterling, you know, probably try to put him back too early. Was he ready? But I don't know. You know, obviously your hamstring can go at any time, because it's that freak injury of sport. But you know, it just bad luck for the boy first and foremost. But I mean, how many injuries and how I'll look at his record, mate, but we're having the tune. But I like Big Sterling. I thought his best period for us was when we played in midfield, and we could do with that physicality in there again, in my opinion. But it's just, you couldn't hang your hat on him, Southside, could you?
He should only be getting 20 minutes maximum for about 4 games. That's what he should have been getting. 20 minutes
the
maximum.
whole squad.
He done it in 7 minutes, Bridge.
Huh?
The whole squad.
No, I'm saying
the
he
whole
should have been
squad
coming
needs-
on later on, you know, as a subby. He shouldn't have been going on right away and playing, because you can see the difference now. That you'll be lucky to get that guy back in 6 months' time.
Well, I'll just say something now. See, if you're going to have a cheap shot on Facebook or that, why don't you phone up the show and have it and talk to me there? Same person that said that Cortez was Cifuentes was going to be a game changer and stuff like that. So if you're going to sit there and have a go at me and type shite in Facebook, then come on the show and we'll have a chat. That's what I'll say to that.
What about me for Sheffield, big?
Well, he had good movement that day, didn't he? You know what I mean? No, it's always.
We've all done it.
It's always the same. Listen, I don't think there's any. We're no selective either of who we put on the show. You know what I mean? So if you want to phone up, you're more than welcome to come on and have a chat instead of you want to type nonsense.
You know, I mean, all Bear fancied what's the boy, the right back we signed to take over Tav. His name's escaped my head. You know, but
Ernst.
But sure, Max Aarons. We signed him at the start of the season. I've seen him very little, even playing at left side. Then we've tried him at right. I didn't think he thought, well, maybe come. Asgard, I accept. It was a wonderful goal he scored against Dundee United. An absolute wonder goal. Yeah. You know, and I accept he can control the ball, but I don't even know where he plays, mate. You know, and everybody sees the game slightly different. Everybody. You know, there's players that you like, I dislike, and vice versa. It's all part of football and at all levels. But come and state your case, yeah.
Did you see the old school's put in the chat when he's talking about when he was at Luton? If you look at it, you'll see it. When even there, some of the boys down there are surprised that he's for him up here. They thought he'd have been a lot better, performing a lot better. And he isn't at the moment. But it's not to say that he can't turn his game around. But whether he does or not, we'll find out in time.
I thought he was going to be a number 10 sort of type, mate, and I've just not seen that. Yeah. You know, I thought he was going to be creating chances, and I've not seen it. But it's not just that. It's his movement and his lack of, mate. His work rates are falling. His work
it has been, mate. I'll give you that. Aye. He's no showed enough. He should be demanding the ball and getting on the ball and trying to go and make things happen, and he hasn't been, and that's been poor. For what I've been watching him, like I said, he was honking on Saturday. You can't put up an argument for him at all.
It wasn't the only one.
No, and players like Raskin and Diamondi, who have been at the club a lot longer and know what it is to play for the club, they're the guys that should be controlling that midfield, demanding, helping the newer players out, trying to encourage them, and they're just as bad at the moment. They're lacking in their application, you know.
Raskin and Diamondi wouldn't have known what Asgard was doing most of the first half, mate, because they were that far away from him.
Aye, he's playing that sort of left sort of role, just to the left of the midfield three.
At times they were back next to their centre halves, mate. Yeah, all right, there was times when they were up next to them and the two of them got forward, but a lot of the game, even when we were in possession, they were that far away from them. You know, it was like we had a defence and an attack, like in the midfield, and you could see Danny Rowe try to get them and move the ball quicker so people can get involved. But listen, maybe these guys have paid the ultimate price because the performances have been so bad. Look, we've reached that time in the evening. What tune you fancy tonight, Bridgeman?
Ibrox, mate. Ibrox on here, please.
Just for Albert. That's always a popular choice, Southside.
Aye, go with that. But it's probably already sorted. It's a bit late to fire in a request now with a minute to go.
No, just get what you guess. You get it right. Let's get yourself a mute, because we're going to have a tune.
I don't know if you can see what the Rangers really mean to me in these last few years. I've been afraid that we might drift away, so I've been telling old stories and singing songs that made me think about where we came from, and that's the reason why I feel so very proud today. So let me tell you that I love you, and I think about you all the time. Ibrox Stadium is calling me, and now I'm coming home. To think of life without the Rangers, you know that it would make me more sad. Glasgow Rangers, you're everything I've ever had. We won 9 in a row, and I'm still dreaming of Brian Laudrup and Trevor Stephen. Big Marvin Andrews said keep believing. Davy Cooper on the wing, and we remember Gaza with great affection. The day the helicopter changed direction, and Jimmy Baxter was pure perfection. Super Valley scores again. So let me tell you that I love you, and I think about you all the time. Ibrox Stadium is calling me, and now I'm coming home. To think of life without the Rangers, you know that it would make me more than sad. Glasgow Rangers, you're everything I've ever had. So let me tell you that I love you, and I think about you all the time. Ibrox Stadium is calling me, and I'm coming home. To think of life without the Rangers, you know that it would make me more sad. Glasgow Rangers, you're everything I've ever had. Without the Rangers, you know that it would make me more than sad. Glasgow Rangers is everything I've ever had.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972? It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Sorry, Big. Oh,
No wonder. See if you're going to say something, see if you're going to actually put something out there, then make sure it's the truth. All right? Now, I'll ask you, just for the mate. I see this nonsense won't let certain callers on. Is that a fact?
I don't know. I think all the time we've been doing Rangers Radio, I think there's been about 2 people blocked, mate. That's what I know.
Correct. Correct. So we don't just, we're no selective in that. If you want to phone in, we're empty tonight, nobody's phoned in. Phone up and we'll bring you in.
Yeah. And I think one of them was for personal abuse or somebody, and the other one was something that they said was you couldn't repeat, yeah?
Oh, aye. I get it, aye. Aye, that's right. I know. It's a phone-in show for Rangers supporters. No, but just can't be bothered with nonsense that gets typed in it. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. I get it, but if you're going to just type nonsense and say we won't let certain people on and stuff, sometimes you might phone in when it's busy and you might not get a call back, or you maybe get a call back and you can't answer it. No, it's just you maybe miss it, but we're no selective in who we bring on. It's a show for people to phone in and have a gab about the famous Glasgow Rangers.
When we're busy.
Does somebody upset you then, Southside?
Ah, mate, don't worry about that. It's just the usual fake book and stuff. No, it's the usual, innit? I wouldn't worry about it, mate. Just as well I don't have it.
just as well.
I know that's how I don't. See fake boot was a pub, would you actually go to it? Would you really? No, I don't think you would you?
I think he came and buy you a drink, wouldn't he?
He might buy me a drink now. Anyway, back to the Rangers.
I'd gladly buy you a drink, Southside.
John Sterling, mate, yeah. Just out of curiosity, mate. We have discussed it in the past, mate. You know what I mean? Let me see what we've done. I'll find it in a minute. There we go. Right, just quickly. Right, this is his new his third season with his mate. He started 22 league games, 22 sub, total of 34 starts, 36 substitutes appearances, yeah. In his third season. Obviously, he's a dynasty one. We knew it would be a long term, you know, and again, sideways when he's nearly 24. He's heading towards 27 now in the peak of his career, you know. Well, just turned 26, sorry, last month. But it's a sin that such a he has got something about him, but you're no good. You're no good if you can't get fit, and obviously it's just one thing after another. So hopefully it's not as bad as you're maybe intimated. It's just a precaution, but it didn't sound great because we just gave him our contract. When was that? This time last year, was it? I think it was, wasn't it? We gave him an extension. Yeah. But there you go. We can't get any luck at all. We can't get any luck at all. Yeah, come and join us. 0141 356 1972. Phone in. We'll phone you back and we'll bring you into the show. Everybody and anyone and everyone. Yeah. Here's your thoughts. When this broke today, Bridgeman, did you feel as if it was a good day for the Rangers or a bad day?
Today, great day for the Rangers. Great day. As far as I'm concerned, the news this morning, fantastic. Fantastic. Now, we need to back that up. We need to go and do. And obviously, the people that can go and do it, to get the repair done, then they need to go and get it done. Simple as that. There should be nothing else on their worksheet than getting this sorted. That's what should be happening. And you know that, by the way, Oxford. You know that, and Southside knows that. That's the most important thing in Rangers at the moment. Apart from the club, the team on the park winning, which is always most important. But when you get something going on in the background like that, and you know, it's just terrible, just terrible. But we're glad that part of it's happened, and now we need to get back in and get it repaired.
What was your initial thoughts, Southside?
On Sterling?
No, when the news broke today.
Oh, the day? Aye. Like everybody else, happy to a point, the fact that they've eventually pulled the plug and done the right thing. Should probably have done it earlier, but they've done it. It's new how they react to it. It's all right pulling the plug. They've got another big decision now, these two, Parag and Andrew Kavanagh, to make now. They've got to get the right people in that can do the job, handle the size of the club, handle the expectations of what you've got today in that role at Glasgow Rangers. And it's how you react to it. They've made a mistake. Well, you've got to say they've made the mistake, although it was Stilwell and Stewart probably that made the mistake with Russell Martin. They gave them the carte blanche to go and make that decision. And they made a mistake. And then they two personally went to sort out the next manager role. As they said, they would be hands-on. Now they've pulled the plug on these two, and they'll be hands-on again, I would imagine, to get the right people in a job. It might take a bit longer than we want, but as long as they get the right people in that can do the job, and we will be successful in the two postdocs going forward.
I was surprised it sort of happened, but I wasn't shocked, if that makes sense. Yeah. As I said earlier on, I think it's a positive day, but you'll only be judged in who you bring in and how successful that recruitment is. Yeah, I just genuinely believe we couldn't give this group of the front men for the football club to be involved in the decision making and recruitment again because it was so bad in the summer. That's my end views, Bridge. Yeah, everybody might see it slightly different.
Yeah, and so they will, of course. They've got many people. I'll repeat what I said just a couple of minutes ago. Whoever it is that's going to take over or is running the place now, who's responsible for it, they've only got one job in their plate until we get it, or get this positions or two positions to be filled, and that's got to happen. No matter what it is, it's got to happen. The club has got to run itself and get run properly for it as much as possible. And we've got a temporary guy in at the moment, and the position that he's in and below him, based on what we know from this season, is they're the two key positions from a directorship level and executive level. They're the two. It's got to be done. They've got to find them and let the team manager do what the team manager's doing and give them guidance whenever they can. I know it's a big job. It's got to be done, and it should be done toot sweet. Don't want to be listening to them telling us, well, in March we're going to bring somebody in. You're talking another 6 months or so away. No. Can't afford that. They've got to have a plan B to get it run.
We're speculating.
Sorry.
No, it's all right, mate. We're speculating, Southside. You think that Danny Rowe may be speaking to the chairman? Had any influence in this? Purely speculation, mate.
Yeah, aye. Oh, talk about that. Listen, he's not been half injured. My mates just said the thing said, do you bite at that? So I have. So he's no, he get this Jude Sterling just been subbed after 60 minutes. I'm going to do him in when I get him. So he's not been half injured.
By the way, give me his number now, Dave.
I know. I'm going to get him. I'll get him later. Because I missed the game tonight and I'm doing the show. That's what it is. He's just bamming me. But I think he'd probably speak to him. And if they're speculating, he'd probably say, look, what do you need for... If they know that Thelwell's gone, you'd go and speak to the manager and say, what do you need in January? What do you think you need? And he would probably say, look, I need a lot more than what I've got here. This squad isn't good enough to carry me at the end of the season. And we know that it's not good enough. We can tell by Saturday's performance. That's Livingston that's just come up. And I know Davy Martindale sets a team out no bad against us and he's got experience as a manager, but we should be blasting Livingston out the park. We're at home at Ibrox and we won.
They'd more chances than us.
The boy Muirhead near the end nearly could have made it 2 each. Obviously, aye, and then obviously we got away possibly with a handball after they score. We only had 2 shots in target, and I think they did as well. But that's a poor. So if he spoke to Danny Rowe, I think he would have said, look, I need more here. I need a lot more. And to be honest, if we look at the squad docs, we all know it needs 2 or 3. We need to try and get 2 or 3 starting signings in the door in January if possible. But we need to overhaul it again in the summer with a good few number of players coming in. We've got a whole defence to rebuild. We've got a strike force to build. And we've got a midfield to build. Let's not be kidded here.
Every department, mate. Every department.
Needs attention, aye. Needs attention.
Our first signing would be a centre half. I was speaking to Albert the other day here. His first signing would be a midfield player. I think we need 2 first teamers in January. And if Nico Raskin goes, we need to sign 3. And I mean first teamers. I don't mean fringe players or some guys that are right in the first team and play. Anyway, we'll be joined by Bob J. Evening, Bob J.
Hi, good evening, everyone. How you doing? Okay.
All right, mate. You?
Well, not too bad, mate. I've got you weren't the only Friday night, but I had to switch off because of my dog's behaviour. But I've got him lying sleeping tonight, so we're fine. Anyway, I was roaring at everybody, telling everybody to shut up, and I was directed at the dog. No, the boys, I can assure you.
Was it you that get the red card or the dog?
The dog got a sore a-hole. Nah, he was fine. I've got him sleeping tonight.
Listen, it's not been the first time people's come on here, Bob, you're telling us to shut up, you know what I mean?
Oh, no, not at all. We're all nice gentlemen on here. Anyway, it's been an eventful day.
Yes.
And I'm in the yes camp for they 2 gone. They were failing. It's as simple as that. These Americans didn't put up to tell you. And they just made the decision to cut their losses and away with them. I don't like talking about people losing their job. It doesn't matter what level they're at. It's a shame. Excuse me. A shame to say people lose their job, but I think it was inevitable they had to go. That was another horror show on Saturday, by the way, when you break it down. It was. I was lucky to go to jail with VAR. It was a penalty kick all day long. But there's been too much made of it, so that's honesty for you.
What's your take, Bob Jen, after you asked the lads, what's your take on the Americans? Obviously, you know, you've heard the chairman today coming out and saying his bit and saying, look, we want to move to a different level, we want to move with people with different thoughts. So they're not messing about when it comes to if it's not working, eh?
Well, they're not afraid to make a decision. I mean, they're always like that, you know. They're not afraid to make a decision. I mean, you've seen it running through the heart of your industry. It's American owned. If it's not working, boom, it's away. And footballs are in the sense, and that's the same. Not working, bang, end off. But I really don't know what to make of this. I think a lot of people expected, because they had 10 hours, it was back to the good old days, and it's not worked out that way. We're just going to have to be patient longer. And the Rangers are folks known for its patience, obviously, in this country. So we'll just have to grin and bear it a while longer. Because this squad, it needs something around. It's not been good enough. We're all getting the pitfalls there. That's Thelwell and Robinson's. That was their failure, and I'll need to be rectified. But I don't know. High finance, an unpredictable thing. We'll just have to wait and see what happens. And I heard Southside saying earlier on that Rascan and Diamandi, they're passengers are now. They're just not doing it. And if you get a 20 million plus for Rascan at the moment, and I'm an admirer, you know, at the moment, take a hand off them. The boys not doing it. And Diamandi is not like to play anybody.
And also his contract situation, he's got a year and a half to go. You have to protect the club. Yeah. Considering this time next year they could sign for something for nothing. Same question yourself, so say then Bridge can pop in. Your view on the Yanks, the way they handle things, and they don't mess about, mate, eh?
No, listen, they came in and they were getting an injection of cash, and everything was looking positive, and you were looking for a good start, and they'd make the appointment to a new manager, and everything would go for there. And listen, they've made mistakes, let's be honest. Their heart looks like it's in the right place, but they've made a mistake with allowing probably, but they're trusting people. They're putting these people in place to do the job for them. They've put a lot of money in. It's their money. It's their reputation. They're businessmen. He's probably successful businessman, Andrew Kavanagh, in the healthcare and that, which he's doing in America. So, he's acted swiftly, but he could have acted a bit quicker. I think he could have done the same with Russell Martin. There could have been reasons for it, but I think they're getting the magnitude of the club, the expectation of the club, what it means to people. And I think now they're grasping it slowly. And as I keep saying, it's easy to sack somebody. It's how you react and replace the mistake that you've made. I don't think Danny Rowe was the first. I think we all could see that Gerrard was probably the one that I think he didn't fly out here for nothing at the time to speak to them. But it turns out Danny Rowe, and they'll back him, and hopefully he'll be successful. And I think now that they've acted with Thelwell and Stewart gone, then it's down to they two now, Parag and Andrew Kavanagh, to get this right. Whether it might be, as long as they're good in their roles and they know what it takes to be a CEO at the size of club that they're coming to and what the expectations are. And they're not just about picking players and stuff, it's about running the whole football department for the back, the women's team, the men's team, the under-18s, 19s, whatever. It's down to running all that in the background. And also the CEO needs to be up front, and when he says something, it has to mean something. And he has to go and back the team, the support, and everything else that happens to us as we see things that have developed over the last number of years. We've been slow. We're coming out with statements or saying things that we expect the club today. But first and foremost, he needs to be able to run the whole operations in the club and take that role on and be good at his job. So they have made mistakes, and hopefully they'll get these two appointments right, Hawks. But they're successful in what they've done in their previous jobs and what they do. in their jobs and that, but they're running Glasgow Rangers Football Club now. I expected it to be a smoother transition and be a bit more fruitful, and the manager we picked the first time round I thought would have worked, but it never. So we're looking for them long term now to make sure that the next two positions they fill are correct, and going forward. And there's a lot more in the background, Hawks, that we need to fix round about the club as well, as we've spoke about in the background. You know, there's a lot more positions need filled in certain areas of the club to make it function even better. Whether we'll see in time, like we've said, touched on the Purdy stays long term or Thelwell's boys stays, we'll find out, you know, going forward.
I can't see it, mate. I can't see it. You know, just in general life, mate, when somebody brings somebody into a job and they're new, they've just started, mate, you usually end up leaving. Forget about somebody as high profile as us. I think his boy was on the hide to nothing. And by the way, when I look at Norwich recruitment and where they are, and it must be a bad luck because you predicted to get beaten the weekend yet, even way.
Or what?
Philip Clement there. I mean, I wish him all the best. Nothing against Philip Clement. Didn't work out for our club, but I thought Philip was not a bad fella. But if he was involved with that recruitment, mate, look where they are. You know, even that. I don't know if that was a catalyst in the decision. Bridgeman, I'm interested in your view on the Americans.
Well, you're doing a cracking job based on today, but only based on today. I think it's taken them a wee bit longer than I would have wanted to settle the two guys in, and obviously they weren't for settling. They're no Rangers quality, those two, in my opinion, and so I think he did the right thing. He's pulled the trigger, and let's get them out. It's a pity, didn't he? I would say a month or so. If they'd done some of this stuff a month or so ago, then it may have made a big difference to us. But we're in no man's land at the moment. We're heading up towards a transfer window, and we've got no director of football that can help the manager for purchases and so on and so forth. So I don't know whether we're going to get somebody in quick. Yeah?
My guessing is, mate, and I'm putting all the jigsaw pieces here and guessing a lot of it. I think they made their mind up a month ago, and they got the manager in, and then they waited, and then they've moved on, mate. I think I'm speculating. I think that some of the jigsaw pieces and the decisions were made before they've actually they pulled the trigger, Bridge. But I'm speculating, mate.
So you think there's somebody sitting in the wings waiting?
Maybe. Potentially.
Cool.
Anyway, we'll be joined by Blue Star. Evening, Blue Star.
Evening, Ops. Evening, Bridgeman. Evening, Bob.
A long time no here, pal.
I know. And evening, Southside.
Evening.
Listen, that wasn't a dig. That was tongue in cheek, and you responded quite brilliantly when you mentioned Cifuentes. I was on the show numerous times saying I thought the guy would run a midfield. Absolutely. How wrong was on that one? And it's all about opinions. And my main point was, guys, that this is what it's all down to. When we appoint, whether it's directors or football, for me, that I'm old school. For me, a good manager, not a head coach, a good manager, he picks his own players. And I think this is where we've been going wrong for years. We've had guys in the jobs, quite frankly, they shouldn't have been anywhere near our club. Only my opinion. We're now at the stage, whenever the Yanks come in, I think a lot of our fans automatically had illusions of grandeur, simply because they knew they had a bit of cash behind them. And they probably thought they were going to spend millions and millions. Brings us on to it. They did spend a right few million, as we have done every season, even with the last boards. But once again, the guys that were putting in prominent positions weren't good enough at their jobs. And I look at it now, and you look at them bringing in Martin. I've yet to hear a guy yet, even on your show, constantly. I listen to it every night, as you know. And I go like that. How could they put Thelwell in, who was undoubtedly a failure at Everton? Doesn't matter what MD thinks, he was a failure. They didn't bring in Stewart, but Stewart was also a failure, as it's now been absolutely proven at Man United. He was never in a prominent position of any sort. He comes in and he's supposed to be running our football department. He then appoints Thirlwell, or so we think it was him. And you look at it for the outside, looking in, and you go, how can Mr. Kavanagh, a billionaire, not a multi-millionaire, a billionaire, surely if you're taking out a big, massive club as ours, you would make a point, first and foremost, even before you pick a manager, your director of football has to be a proven, articulated guy that's got a proven track record, of which none of them had. And so it transpires. And I've already put it on the feed tonight. And I mean it. I hope I'm wrong. I hope he proves me wrong. I don't believe for a second Danny Rowe will even be there next season. No, I don't. And my reasoning for that is the guy doesn't have the experience. It could turn out to be a masterstroke. Absolutely, it could. He's got no chance with this present crop of players. We all know that. They're not good enough. And even the ones that were there beforehand, Ox and guys, like your Raskins and your Diamondis, etc. I'm sorry, they've done nothing this season. They're no hanging it. It's as if they're picking up their pie packets the same as many before them. Quite frankly, I think Raskin wants away. That's my honest opinion. But you're looking at it and you're going, these guys do not run any department at any bit of our pitch in any game. And as Southside just said 2 seconds ago there, he's 100% right, as you've all been saying. You look at every department, you look at our defence, as Bridgman's been saying for years, you look at our midfield and you look at our attack. It just so happens, I thought the defence, he's shored it up a wee bit. He's at least won 4 games, I'll give him that. But we've been convincing in absolutely none of them. And you're looking at the whole package and you're saying, surely Mr. Kavanagh's looking at this and going, what have I paid money here for? These guys haven't done it, and the recruitment's been absolutely shocking. So everybody in their granny is absolutely out of the moon today with the announcement of the 2 guys going, because they've been utter out-and-out failures of the harshest kind, and you can't be too harsh on them. That's the truth. Everything they've touched at our club has been absolutely shocking.
The broke criticism on themselves, mate. The broke criticism.
100% Ox. They've been good at nothing that they've done. Absolutely nothing.
Southside.
Aye, good to hear you on, Blue Star. Good you phoned up and come on. Listen, we all say things like we say at the time, how we see it, and it's only an opinion. And I think, like you said, the Yanks at the moment, as I said, they've made a lot of mistakes, and it's how they rectify it. I don't know about Danny Rowe.
You made a cracking point.
Mm-hmm.
You made a cracking point there when you mentioned Asgard, and that was another one. Unfortunately, I wasn't on. I can assure you, I was praising the guy because I did see a few of his games when he's playing with Luton, and the guy's got ability. Of that, there's absolutely no doubt. But he scored one worldly goal. Other than that, he's prancing about that pitch, and there's too many of them coming. I thought, Southside, you're at every game. Half the guys in Saturday didn't even come off that part breaking sweat. There's one thing about ability, but there's another thing about grit and determination and trying. We're not even getting that for 4 and 5 of the guys constantly. And yet, this is where I will criticise Danny Rowe. There's guys sitting there in the background. We Cameron, for one. The minutes that he's played, I think he's been outstanding. Barron hasn't got the skill of Cameron, but he at least puts in a shift. But the guy that absolutely blows me away, for the minutes that he's played, the limited minutes that he's played, and he scored 4 goals, is Curtis. How that guy's not getting a sniff is absolutely bewildering.
He's just coming back from injuries, though, isn't he? Had a wee injury, picked up an injury.
I know that, Ox, but even before he was injured, he was dropped. And he's got the ability. He certainly has bulked up, and that's one of the things that we're still, and you've said it numerous times yourself, we've still got too many guys that don't have the physique and the physicality right throughout the whole squad. It's lamentable. It really is. And they've got a great chance this season because The other side are absolutely stinking as well. But even in that semi-final, and that's what I was disappointed in our present coach role. You get into that semi-final and you're saying to yourself, every manager gets an initial bounce. They get named. They came out in the first half and they were run out of the tappy. And even at that, we had 2 cracking chances. It's frightening. But hopefully Mr. Cavan has seen the error of his ways now. And whoever he brings in now, whether it's director of football or whoever, they've got to have a proven track record. They have to.
It's difficult to get, mate, because your league is struggling to attract anybody at the moment, mate, because of the mess we've got ourselves into. No, just us, the whole of Scottish football. But that's for another debate. I'll come back to you. We'll be joined by old Davy. Evening, Davy. Oh, evening, David.
You want a Malteser, Davy?
It's all right, Bridgeman. I was doing one of your specials there. How you doing? He's all right. How's Rocky?
Just for
Hey,
a moment
Rocky.
there, I thought I would be... Just for a moment there, I thought I could send back your birthday present.
Aye, oh, guys, coming. We're getting there, boys. We're getting there. I'm up and running. I'm still hip for operation right well. But you take care.
The golf swing coming back then, aye?
Never
Did you get
leaves
my
you,
flowers?
son.
Did you get the flowers I sent you?
Aye, we're all deeding. I'll go to him in the ward, aye. Anyway, that was the best news I've heard for a while. But unfortunately, chaps, it's not going to solve our problems. It will eventually, but we're still got a long way to go yet, because I think somebody was Blue Star maybe mentioned that, Suicide mentioned that what I've got there and now at the moment is just not good enough. I mean, Saturday's game.
Miles up, David. Miles up.
Oh, miles. It was. I've never wanted to switch a Rangers game off in my life. I don't think I ever have at times. I've nodded off now and again, but Saturday was dire. But he could only play what he had available. But hopefully, if we can get this right now with the sporting director and get a good window in January and see where we go from there, because we can't just think everything's going to change right away because we get rid of the 2 clowns. It's a step, big step in the right direction.
No, whoever comes in is going to get the players in. And as we're saying, bring Southside in, Bridger and Blue Star can come in. You know, it's how you attract players in January. It's not easy, and you get contract situations. And do you get people early? Who's going to go to the club? Who do you try and get rid of? And I'm speculating. Maybe Joe Rothwell might feel as if he might want to go back down the road, and people might leave, and then that frees up wages, and all that's got to come into consideration. Your wage bill, etc. It's not an easy fix outside there.
No, it's not. And maybe with the contacts that Danny Rowles got, been at Bayern Munich and Leipzig and that, because let's be honest, Cavan and Patrick Maragg don't really have a clue, do they? They know how to run a business, but they're no football-minded people, I wouldn't think, and know how to attract players. They put the responsibility. I think John Gilligan possibly was a guy that maybe earmarked Patrick Stewart to come in, and he came in at the start to probably oversee things, try and run things after Bennett had sort of stepped down, and we had even the commercial guy like Bisgrove was out his depth in that role. And now we find out Patrick Stewart was out his depth in that role as well. But we need to find a good CEO and somebody that knows what they're doing in that role. And it's down to them being businessmen. They might find somebody. I don't know how we do the recruitment. I don't know what they're doing yet in the background, who's part of it. I take it Purdy come in to do a bit of it, and we've obviously got Thelwell's boy in there at the moment, supposedly try to help Purdy and recruit with this analytics stuff and whatever. But we need to get back to some type of form of recruiting players. The manager should always have the say in it, I think. He knows what he probably needs for the squad, and let's be honest, as we said to Blue Star, we need it ripped up for start. We need a couple of strikers. We need midfielders that are going to be on the ball, dominant on the ball, got a physical presence, and we need to really build a whole defence because we've got a lot of players in and loan. So Thelwell, for what he's done in his recruitment and stuff, hasn't been good enough by any way, shape or form. The squad's really poor. We're struggling to beat a Livingston team, and yet we're still in a title race. And as much as we're a few points behind, we're still there. And we need to keep going.
You want Ian Ferguson that can play like Gaza? Yeah.
I just want players that can go on the ball and take time. We need to get a couple of midfielders that can go and take the game by the scruff of the neck and dictate it. And Raskin and Diamondi are two players that Diamondi we thought we might be selling about now. He's been there a few years. We thought he'd have kicked on. He's no kicked on. He's no. And Raskin, for me, as I said, as Blue Star says, I think he'll go anyway. I mean, his contract's 18 months. He's got January. Whether we can get rid of him in January or no, but I think in the summer we've got to get rid of him. I don't care what people say about Nico Raskin. Still not good enough to play at Glasgow Rangers. He's all right at certain things, but his heart and his mind, I think, is elsewhere. And I think sometimes he plays for himself. And I think him and Diamondi's the best of buddies. You see them all the time and all that. And I just think there's wee cliques still in there, I think. And I think Danny Rowe is going to go and say to Kavanagh that, look, we need a lot more quality. We all know as supporters, we watch it every week. We're no daft. We need better quality players into that squad. It is miles off it at the moment, and it's not good enough. And it's down to them to get recruitment. I think we'll maybe need to get 3-4 players if we can, maybe even one on loan. I don't know, but we'll need to try Ox and get players in. Maybe we'll get a chance of signing somebody. We had 6 months on a deal and stuff like that we could get.
As we sit today, Southside, I think we need, if Raskin goes, that's a different story. As we sit this now, you need in January, just in January, mate, 2 first teamers. You might sign a couple of projects and all that. What I'm saying is you need 2 first teamers, and arguably the first one would need to be a centre half because we're so exposed there, right? Because Dejia, Suter's injured. Yeah, and obviously Fernandez is just learning his trade, and Cornelius is injured as well at the moment, and he's on loan, but you don't know the details of that deal, so you need somebody to come in. And if Raskin leaves, that for me means you need 3 first teamers. Now that's a lot to sign in January. Yeah, and I'm talking about guys that go straight in the team, and I think that's the minimum, and the whole club should be working towards that. Now getting people at the door would be a bonus, and that's even harder. Bridgeman, then Blue Star.
Yeah, I think we've talked. You hear the guys are saying about midfield and that. We've got a complete mismatch in midfield. I reckon to that young lad, Raskin, when I say he's a young lad, I think he's a young lad. He's a superb player, international, Belgian international, and we can't play him. We can't give him some people that can play alongside him because we don't have them. If we've got them, they're injured. We need to be able to find midfield players that can actually play and do the job. I bet you Raskin can do in a certain position. I don't know what it is, but you put him in a position to be a star. But we're not getting into that position because we don't have the other players running about it. So it's a mismatch for me. And it's a mixing match in the midfield. Diamondi, we've spoke about him a million times. I think he's a smashing player, but for some reason or other, he completely falls out of the game. You know, it's somebody's pulled the floor away from him and he's just fell down a hole. That's what happens to him, and I don't know why. I've got no idea. We need midfielders. We need midfields, and we definitely need at least one defensive midfielder. And Big Sterling was going to be the man that's going to help us out there, but he's not going to help us out at all. We need defensive midfielder.
He's no injured, by the way.
Sorry?
He's no injured. Somebody got that right.
He's no.
He played 60 minutes.
That's you spreading rumours. Oh, shit. You're not a big south side.
Well, by the way, trust me, it's not the first time. It's not the first time me and him will get things wrong. Blue Star,
no.
I genuinely know we need a dominating centre half. We need a left back. We've not even got a left back. I'm sorry, the wee guy Magoma's not even good enough, and we've not even get cover for him, and he's only a loanee. We need a dominating midfielder, a guy that can run a game. And my oh my, that's before you even touch that forward line. We're up against it, guys. You can't get them in January. You're struggling even to bring in a what you classify a first teamer in that January window. You know,
I agree.
And that's how I'm saying his hands are completely tied, and it doesn't even come. The money doesn't even come into it. The guys the decent ones just aren't available. You know, we're clutching at straws. We all know what we need. You're saying two doesn't even cut it. Doesn't even look at it. We've got no left back. We've got basically no defence. They're all low knees. Bartab and Suter, and they've no signed contracts. You've got a midfield that nobody, doesn't matter who permutates it and how you permutate it, they can't control a game. In any game, Falkirk ran out of the tappies. We've got them again at the weekend, and you're looking at all these teams at the bottom, and every single one of them are more than capable of taking points off us. That's how drastic it is. That's not being negative. That's just fact. We've struggled in every single game. And then up front, you're looking at the money and the wages and the cost that they front players have cost us. And we've not got a player in any of them. None of them have showed up at all. I even thought Majorski would have done us a turn. He's been drastically bad. And you're just looking at it all and you're going, nobody in their right mind could foresee we could actually have got worse than we were last season. Never in a million years. And here we are.
Stephen Rothwell came in, Blue-Star. Stephen Rothwell.
Exactly.
I thought he was going to be an experienced pro, play next to Raskin, would improve our team. Diamandi maybe
100%.
And
the Leeds fans didn't want him to even go because he had that great a season with him last year, and we've seen nothing for him.
Not at all. Bob Ger.
I think I'll go up to the doctor tomorrow and tell him I've got mental problems. It's not been a good, when I say it's not been a good lesson tonight, boys, it's just all the descriptions you're putting about the club, it's fact. It's 2 weeks of time, we can all see it. We'll watch it every week. It's just, this transition, as they call it, has been a monumental failure, and Rangers are doing a hole again. And how they get out of it this time, well, God only knows. They've all talked there about the various things, about the former players, signings, chief executives, and directors of football, I don't know. The whole lot sounds like a monumental shambles. I'm sure you've got to agree with that, like. Sounds like a monumental shambles.
I think that's how they had to pay with their jobs, Bob Ger. That's how they had to pay with their jobs. Because it's affecting now, it's affecting the future, because they're affecting the revenue stream of the club, the interest waning.
And then they say, oh, you talk. I don't see it. It's frustrating the life of it, because that along the road there is bad, if no worse. And if we had a half-decent team this year, we could have run away with that league. I don't care what else I've done. They're proving that point now. We could have run away with the league this year, and that's a frustrating bit about it. Because they will strengthen and get better, by the way. And we've got to do this. I don't know what the answer is with us. Nobody can, excuse me, I'm not been very well lately, lads. I support Rangers. No, I just don't know what direction we're going in. I don't. It's chaos after chaos. So I'm going apart.
Players need to be ready physically, mentally, and have the ability to play in our first team. Yeah.
Well,
some of the players haven't had the physicality. Like Rothwell can't last past 60 minutes. Asgard maybe not get the attitude, because he's definitely got skill. There's no doubt in that. He's a juggler. Yeah, he can do all that. Yeah. And then other ones are just, some of them got 2 of that missing. So the recruitment's been fair. I think it was 13 players he brought in. And I don't think any of them have worked. Anyway, we've also been joined by Billy. Maybe that's the point. We need more Billies and Patricks and Kevins. Billy,
more Billies.
Couldn't agree more, Ox. Good evening, everybody. Listen, I'm listening to the show. Good show again. A lot of good points in that. You know, just to touch on the Livingston game. Firstly, I think the major problem with us at Rangers, and by that I mean the players, They allow themselves to get dragged down to an inferior level, right? See when the likes of Livingston come a calling at Ibrox, we get drew down to their level, and then when teams have a go at us, like say maybe we go up to Dundee or something or Aberdeen, you know what it's like up there, it's a ding dong. Then all depends what kind of mental mindset you're in, where we say, Ken, what will we hear a game today? Will we turn up today? Will we go and boss the game? And that's all down to mentality as far as I'm concerned, guys. The players have got ability there, but you stole a wee bit of my thunder there, Ox, you know, regarding mentality. And that's a major problem at Rangers. And that's concerning for me, because it doesn't matter if it's Dundee, it doesn't matter if it's Livingston at Ibrox, it doesn't matter if it's Aberdeen away or Celtic at home. No matter who it is, when you pull that jersey on and you run out in front of the Rangers supporters, be it home and away, you've got to leave everything out there on the park. You cannot decide when you, as a footballer, are going to turn up and when you're not going to turn up, or when it suits you. And you can hear all the ability in the world, all the ability in the football skill in the world. If you've got an attitude and a mindset like that, you'll never make it, and you'll certainly not make it at Rangers.
You'll get fun out, you'll get exposed, mate, if you're not getting the cojones. Yeah, I mean, I think it was Mr. Wallace who used to say you need to have the character. Yeah, and
that's right.
If you don't get that character, you'll not make it, because you'll get fun out, because every day is a test. Because people, it's their cup final. It's their cup final, and it makes a season sometimes. You know, and there's no hiding place. Bridgeman.
Yeah, that Billy's right as well. You know, it's just it's actually chaos, isn't it? At Rangers at club level and on the pitch, it's actually chaos. You get so disappointed when you watch them. I was delighted to get a win at the weekend. Obviously, get with 3 points in, but my goodness gracious, we can't give away possession so many times. So many times we lose the ball, and all of a sudden we don't know where we are. None of the players are in the right position, and we're knackered. And that's like that at a management level now. We've sat and watched, as fans have sat and watched and spoke about this. We'll get two guys sitting there that should never be there. We've said that all the way, and we had a manager there that should never have been there. So we're ready three people now since we started the season. And what are we going to do? You know, it's just chaos everywhere. Now you need to be able to settle down and go on with it. Huh? Sorry?
I'm glad that they three people went, mate. Because
oh yes, they should never have been there.
After a few weeks, everybody, how do we say, we knew they weren't a good fit for our club. Yeah,
absolutely.
Stuart's been there, but 13 months or something. Felwell came in June, involved with the recruitment of Russell Martin, who I've seen never get the Swansea job today. So, you know, but that for day one, that just didn't look a good fit. But if the first, it wasn't a good fit because he wasn't a popular choice. You've got to prove yourself. You've got to prove the support rang. And for the first friendly at Ibrox, it didn't look a good fit. And it just carried on. We were very fortunate against Panathinaikos. And both stars made the point that we've struggled in every game we've played arguably this season. Definitely in Europe and a lot domestically. You know, against Falkirk, then at Ibrox when we could have lost. Yeah, results that just shouldn't be happening. Yeah, you get the odd fluke. The odd fluke's all right. It happens. But no consistently. Davy.
Aye, Billy's what Billy was saying is spot on. Can you agree anymore?
This is the Vodafone voicemail service for 07392156665.
My window cleaner. No, it's no. Anyway, Billy was spot on there. And that's one thing that really hurts me. It's when you look at the attitude of some of the players out there and what they put in, excuse me, what they are putting in. If they call that their 90-minute performance, well, I think that's one of the things that's frustrating all the fans, is they're talentless. That's a problem. They're talentless. But that doesn't mean you don't empty your tank and you go out and play. And they're not doing that. I don't care what anybody says. There's no many rain come up with cramp. And that's going to change.
I think we might have been joined by Tosh. Evening, Tosh. Polestar, you've got to be realistic what you're going to bring in January. I don't think it's going to be 13 players.
No, and this is a problem. Ops. I know to get deflated because that SPL title's there to be won. Undoubtedly, as that other mob, that's the worst they've been in the last 15 years. Of that, there's no doubt. And you're looking at it and you're going, if we can just show a bit of power, surely to good. One of the things that's frustrated me the most, when this guy got the job, his first 2 interviews, he repeated the same phrase and he says, I want more power and I want us to be on the front foot. Well, I'm being honest, guys. I keep hearing this word improvement. The only improvement we've had, yes, we've picked up 4 wins, and I get it, winning's everything, but the performances, we're not seeing it on the park. And as Billy just said, you can forgive players maybe not being the most skillful, not being the most tenacious. But the one thing you can forgive them for is if you know for a fact when they're getting that ball, they're attempting to run with it. Ox, we've got wingers. There's Ant-Man the first 7 minutes. He took the outside right twice and get by him. See, after that 7 minutes, that guy never took the player on once the rest of the game. Gassimer, he's the worst out of the lot for me. You know he's got a bit of trickery, but if you blow on him, he just gets done. He's like Cortez before him. The physicality, it's as if they're fear. Midfielders, we don't have them to get in the ball, even when there's yards and yards of space in front of them and running with it. Ox, me and you's been talking about this for years. We lacked running power in our team. We're still lacking it. And it's not for the fact that we've not spent money. We've spent money every year. We spent over 18 million last year, and we're still not getting it. And these are the basics of the game. You've got to be fit. You've got to be able to put in a shift for 90 minutes. We're not getting anything like that. And that's where I fault the coach or the manager, call him what you will. Surely to goodness, he's got to get him soup. The last time I seen a fit Rangers side, and they're certainly one of the greatest players, was under Gerrard. The one thing nobody could fault him for, we played on a Thursday night, we went to extra time, we won. We then had to play them on the Sunday. It went to extra time and we won. At least they had us fit and we were full of power and running. We've not had that since.
That was Giovanni's team, but it was a Gerrard pre-season.
Well, sorry, but you know what I mean.
It was Gerrard's pre-season. Anyway, we've been joined by Tosh.
Evening, Ox. Evening, lads. How you doing?
Right,
no bad, mate. Can I just say to you, Ox, I just 100% agree with Southside and Bluester. I watch a lot of English football as well, and I thought, ask God, get him settled in. He's going to smash it up here. And Gasman, Sheffield Wednesday fans are going mad because we're going for $2 million. They say we've got a 20 million Premiership player. He's played 4 qualifiers, but he's not done nothing since. And Ant-Man, how good was he on his debut? I thought, here we go, got a cracker. And Rothwell, Leeds fans were shouting and bawling about him. I've seen nothing. They've played one good game, and it was that qualifier, Ant-Man's debut. Nobody's done nothing. Rothwell, the only thing I can remember him doing was his pass to Gasman that set my Oscar up at Falkirk. But I think now they two's away. I don't know, I hope so. I think there'll be a completely different atmosphere in that club and the team. I hope so, because I hope
you're right, mate. But I don't know how close they would be in the dressing room, Tosh.
It's time for them to stand up and go for it. They've got from now to the 1st of January. This is their chance. They've got to go for it, and they better grace it or they're away. Simple, because they're not doing not. After as soon as Livingston scored, what did we do? Not a thing. Nothing. I was watching. I thought, what? That was on Saturday night. We were relieved that we get 3 points against Livingston at Ibrox. Eh?
You didn't swear, did you?
No, I'm saying no. I swear. I'll tell you what. Oh, if you'd have heard me. But that's how bad it is. We were relieved that we get 3 points off Livy at Ibrox.
Hanging on.
Wow.
On the end, mate. Hanging on.
But I'll tell you what. See that big boy that scored for them? He's better than Chimiti. So Livingston's got a 20 or 10 million player on their book.
Well, what a touch. What's a touch?
I know. His first touch, he hit that ball. I thought, he's better than Chimiti. What's going on here? And you think about it, the money we paid for Chimiti, we could have got Big Seamer in Cherney. And probably Shankland.
In theory, but it doesn't always work.
I know, but I'm saying we could have. Well, for about 10 million, say 10 million, we could have got Seamer, Cherney, and Shankland. But I don't know. It's mental. There's a lot going on. All right, they choose away, but I want to know. Well, no come out, but there's a lot going on that we don't know about the behind the scenes. It's just not right at all. You can just tell. I mean, for starters, who the hell appointed Stuart? Imagine a Rangers. My dad go mental. Imagine a Rangers chairman called Patrick. Imagine that interview. How you doing, Patrick? I believe you got a Southern Irish passport and you support Aberdeen. Tell me what you can bring to Glasgow Rangers. And your name's Patrick. What? It's mental. It's ludicrous. It just doesn't make any sense. Patrick Rangers chairman. Aye, right.
I'm not understanding about the uniqueness of our club. That's what they maybe don't understand when you come in from the outside. Sometimes that can work and can be a positive because you're making decisions with the head south side and not with the heart. Yeah.
Aye, we needed somebody in, but the guy should never have been in the job. But he got it, and now he's out of a job. And it's how you react after you. It's easy to sack people and get rid of them. It's how you react. But we know they're trying. We need to build it better in the back room, Tosh. We know we need to sort all that out because that had all been neglected for a long time. And Albert keeps saying is, how many guys do we need in to build this? How many other people do we need in these roles? But obviously, we have to put the background, the football inside in. But these players is the ones that need to stand up and be counted. Asgard, Gasman, Ant-Man and things like that, they're just in the door. You're looking for them to hit the ground running, right? And they haven't. And Asgard, I think, can, like you say, and Blue Star touched on it, now you've touched on it, Old School Blues already talked about it, put it in the chat. He made a lot of assists, and a lot of the players, the guys that are supported Luton are surprised at how he's no kicked on up at Rangers at the moment. But he has got ability, and we need to find a way of getting it out of him. But the other players that are established that have been in our squad, they need to stand up. Even when Suter was fit, he was shocking. He wasn't good enough, and he's no be good enough. So there's other ones. Tav's coming to the end of his time at Rangers, been a great servant, but coming to the end of his career. And they two in the midfield are doing man up. Raskin and Diamonde, they two need to start pulling their socks up and doing something. I think Raskin's heart's not in it. I think he's going to go at some point. Well, he had showed a bit for him, Raskin, but he's not a playmaker. He doesn't build the play. Connor Barron will give you loads of effort, but he's not got the skill level, but he'll give you heart and desire. I agree, Connor, Lyle Cameron might be one that needs to come in. I'd like to see him probably come in against Falkirk and probably Bajrami. I think if we could put the two into our midfield against Falkirk, because Bajrami's not available for the European game on Thursday night. I think he's a football player, but again, he's not produced either, which I thought he would. I thought he'd have scored a lot more goals and contributed more, but he's been out the team under certain managers. Danny Rose gave him a chance. I think he came on and he done quite a bit. Lyle Cameron, I think, is an intelligent player, picks up pockets of space on the park, manages to go on the ball. Physicality is no there, but I think he's intelligent, and maybe they two in certain games might make a difference for us at them, because they know Diamonde and Raskin and Asgard aren't cutting the mustard in there at the moment, guys.
Maybe some two-man more, Lyle Cameron and Connor Barron, wasn't it? Anyway, last word for your good self, Bob Gia.
Oh dear. This is like being reading a divorce letter. Tell me. Murder, man. Hang on away, do nothing. Do the road to get in the cupboard for the rope, son. Hang on. No, it's no good, boys. I mean, we're on a sea. We've got a sea of mediocrity in a squad that needs overturned. I don't care. I mean, we've all been searching for answers, and it's been good. The show's been fantastic. It's been absolutely brilliant. The discussion's great, excellent, and spot on, by the way, as always is. So we'll just, as I say, Danny Rose been in the Bundesliga. He'll get the quality it's required. We've got a transfer window coming up. We'll see what we can do then. So, having said that, thanks for having me on the night, boys, and I'll see you all soon. And still, as Bridge always says, the Glasgow Rangers need us. We will follow on. Good night, boys.
Cheers, Bob. Cheers. Old Davy.
Well said, Bob Chair. I thought I was listening to the Agony Ant show tonight. With everybody on the night, Rocky Balboa, you name it, was on. But great, it's great to hear you all, guys. I always remember one thing. We are the people, and we do not surrender to anybody. So we're going to get two clowns, and then let's take it to there. So God bless the cheers, guys, and good night.
Cheers, David. I think the day's decisions just brought everyone to a head. You know, we can all see where all the issues is. People might have different things about different players. He might fancy him, no fancy him. It's brought the whole thing in her head. Tosh?
I'm hoping, well, that's it, geez, I'm hoping we'll see a different team, a different atmosphere. Remember when Leicester won the Premiership and that team was down tools and they got Ranieri sacked, and then the first game back, they were mint, everybody's got, that's a disgrace. I think that's happened with us to a wee bit of an extent, but still, that shirt's too big for a few of the players. They've got for the 1st of January, to prove themselves, or, well, you know, cheerio. We need a number 6 who's going to let wee Barry first. That'll take the game by the scruff of the neck. We need a number 10 we need a number 10 that's going to book the right in with the strikers, and we need a centre back like, don't know, a Richard Goff type. But where are we going to find it? That's what we need.
Just
let
me know if you find me a Goff, a Ferguson, and a number 10, mate. Just let me know, mate. Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm on FIFA. I found a couple in Holland. Like Bluestar says, onwards and upwards. And thanks for taking my call. Onwards and upwards and no surrender.
Always a pleasure. Billy boy.
Aye, cheers for taking my call, Ox. Thanks very much, mate. I'm glad they took Perry Chatterlands away for the club. It's been a long time coming. Hopefully now, the manager, the manager's always under pressure, isn't he, at Rangers? It doesn't matter if it's Danny Rowe or Graham Souness or Walter Smith, the late Walter. It doesn't matter. There's always pressure on the Rangers manager. But maybe take that wee bit pressure off him just to try and let him allow to work with the players for now to the January window. When the January window comes, when it does come, it's notoriously hard to bring players in at that time of the season anyway, for different reasons. Teams are deep into cup tournaments, European tournaments, they don't want to sell their best players, etc. So I can't see much tuning coming in January. But listen, we'll just need to take it every game at a time, Ox. That's all we can do, just take every one game at a time and keep building momentum that way. And that's the only way forward, I know. And hopefully the Yanks, which I said before, I know, mate, I says, hopefully they've got their thinking caps on and they've seen it for what it is. And I believe they have seen it for what it is. And I'd like to applaud them for getting rid of the two Charterlands. But the next move is, the eyes are right on back on them, because they'll need to get that one right, But it is what it is, mate. We'll see what it is, mate. But cheers anyway, lads, and good night. And we are the people's all day.
Soon, Billy boy. Speak to you soon, mate.
Spot on there, Billy. Spot on.
Poster.
Well, for me, the light's still shining, Ox. Ability's one thing, but if Danny Rowe gets the players, if he can't get the skill out of them, if he gets them fitter and gets for the midfield to the attack, if he gets 4 and 5 guys running after the ball so that players can find them with the ball, I genuinely believe they'll win far more games, far easier. The running thing for me, we're far too slow and laborious, too many backward passes. He's got to get them on the front foot, like he said when his first 2 interviews. Get them on the front foot and get them running. I think that'll be a godsend to us all. But thanks for taking my calls, guys. Always say it, onwards and upwards.
By the way,
Cheers.
the centre halves have the ball far too much. Far too much.
Cheers, guy.
Yeah. Anyway, thanks, Blue Star. Good to hear from you. Southside.
Aye, listen, we're all passionate about the club we all love, mate, and we've all got opinions, and hopefully we start to move forward. We've still got a league title, we've still got a Scottish Cup to go for, and we've still got a game on Thursday night, get some points on this board in Europe, even though we know the squad's struggling. And it's just about fighting for this league title. We need to get back on track and keep going. It's been a busy night tonight, and it's been good to hear a lot of people come on and give their opinions, because that's what the show's about, to get people on and talk about the club, mate. It was good to be on the night with yourself and also the legend, the Bridgeman. So thanks for having us on, as always, mate, and thoroughly appreciated it, and it's been a good show.
Oh, good to hear from you, mate. Good to catch up with you on Saturday as well. Bridgeman, last word.
Oh, what can I say, Oxshire? Marvellous show, absolutely brilliant. And thank you to yourself and Southside and the Techie boys, particularly Southside, for carrying me through that. So really, really appreciated. And the guys that come on, tremendous. I can't say any more than that. Seriously, what I would like to say is to all the Rangers fans listening in all over the world, listen to me, please. This is our club, and we're going through a tough time, but we'll get rid of the people, in my opinion, that were causing the most problems. We've moved them on. Now we need to patch it all up, and we have to take time to do it. But we've got a lot of time, or we've got a short time. In my opinion, it's a short time. We should be getting people in before the new year. That's what I say. And everybody, keep it going for the Rangers, because the Rangers really need us, and so do they. Keep it going.
Well said, Bridge.
Listen, can I thank everybody that's phoned in tonight? Tosh, Bob Chair, Old Davey, Billy, Blue Star, everybody took the time to join us. I think the majority of people are all saying the same thing. Hopefully this is a good day for the club as we move forward, and that we move forward, get the right people in. It's going to be difficult because we've got a lot of things to sort out and not a lot of time to do it, but we'll wish everybody the best. Thanks also to Bridge and Southside for doing the show. Fox and Old School Blue for doing the technicals. Rangers Radio will be back tomorrow night between 8 and 10, talking about all things Rangers. And maybe after the things broke the day, we'll have more time to digest what's happening before we turn our attention to Thursday night's game. Thanks for listening. Take it away, Old School Blue.